ever had this feeling that something was terribly wrong with the world that we live in, but you couldn't figure out just what it was? Then you've come to the right place. Secret societies, mystery religions, and the Illuminati have been controlling our reality since the beginning of time. But not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is a call for an uprising.
This is a call for an uprising. We welcome you to today's show and ask those of you who have not subscribed to please subscribe to our YouTube channel as we continue to expose the satanic Illuminati agenda and the ushering in of the Antichrist. Today's show, I want to talk about more symbols. We've talked a lot and exposed a lot of the Illuminati symbols that are in plain sight. We know of the pyramid, the all-seeing eye, the peace sign, all of these things that we've exposed. But one thing that people out there don't understand is that they also communicate with secret handshakes. Okay, the Freemason lodges teach these handshakes. They're indoctrinated with it at the Freemason lodges. And you can see these celebrities, quote unquote, and these politicians using these handshakes all of the time with one another. So I only have 15 minutes to do this video because of the strike on the channel. And again, please subscribe to the backup channel. Pause this if you haven't already and subscribe. But I have 15 minutes, so let's get to work. Okay, the first shake is the grip of an entered apprentice. As you can see here, the thumb is upward. The grip of the entered apprentice is made by pressing the thumb against the top of the first knuckle joint of the fellow Mason. The fellow Mason also presses his thumb against the first Mason's knuckle. The name of this grip is the Boaz, B-O-A-Z. If I mispronounce some of these, I apologize. Boaz. Okay, when a candidate is imparted with this grip and its usage, it is done in this manner. They go through this initiation process where they have to do the shake with, a master deacon or these worshipful masters of the lodge that they're in. But this is one of the first handshakes that they learn. This is the grip of an entered apprentice. Again, you could see the thumb upward in the image above. You'll see celebrities when they shake each other's hand, or these politicians when they meet other politicians, they let one another know where they are, if they're a master mason, if they're a new apprentice, or whatever their ranking may be. They let each other know through their handshakes with each other. This is another one of those things that you don't pick up on and you don't see because you never look at somebody's handshake. But now, if you start observing these things, you'll see that they do this all the time. They actually go out of their way to pose in these photos so that other Masons can see the handshake so that they know. Okay, the next handshake is the pass grip of a fellow craftsman, or pass grip of a fellow craft, also known as the shibboleth. Again, probably mispronouncing it, but it's the shibboleth. A hand is taken as in an ordinary handshake, so you start with an ordinary shake. The Mason presses the top of his thumb against the space between the first and second knuckle joints of the first two fingers of his fellow Mason. Then the Mason also presses his thumb on the corresponding part of the first Mason's hand. Again, it's hard to see with specific handshakes who's doing what, but you can tell that they're Masons based on the actual way that the handshake goes. You'll see the thumb and how the thumb is either upward or pushed over the hand. But sometimes it's hard to tell just from a photo if they're doing a fellow craftsman shake or if they're doing a master mason shake. So this one is the pass grip of a fellow craft. So letting their other craftsmen know that they're a part of it. The next shake is the real grip of a fellow craft, or the Jachin, Jachin. The Mason takes the other Mason by the right hand and is in an ordinary handshake, presses the top of his thumb hard on the second knuckle. The fellow Mason presses his thumb against the same knuckle of the first Mason's hand. Okay, this is another one of the shakes. They do look somewhat familiar. You really have to examine the photos to see the differences, but the apprentice one, the thumb is way more upward in it, and as you go down the line, you'll see the thumb starts to move. On the right hand here, you see how the thumb is kind of down more towards the fingers. Okay, the next handshake is the pass grip of a master mason. So this is the master mason shake. It's also known as the tubal cane, whatever you want to say, however you want to say it. I just call it the master mason handshake. The Mason places his thumb on the space between the second and third knuckles of the fellow Mason's right hand, while the other Mason moves his thumb to the corresponding space of the first Mason's hand. The thumb is pressed hard between the second and third knuckles of the hands. Again, this is called the tubal cane. When a candidate is imparted with this grip, he is letting his fellow Mason know that this is the grip of a Master Mason, and he has become a Master Mason. And the final one we're going to go over is the real grip of a Master Mason. Okay, it's called the Maha Bone. The Mason firmly grasps the right hand of a fellow Mason. The thumbs of both hands are interlaced. Notice in the picture how they're interlaced, okay? The first Mason presses the tops of his fingers against the wrist of the fellow Mason where it unites with the hand. The fellow Mason at the same time presses his fingers against the corresponding part of the first Mason's hand, and the fingers of each are somewhat apart. The grip is also called the strong grip of the Master Mason, or the lion's paw. Okay, you'll see the lion's paw. Sometimes it almost looks like they're making a V with their hand, and this is called either the lion's paw or the strong grip of the Master Mason, or the Maha Bone. So those are some of the handshakes that they use. You need to start training yourself to look for these shakes. You'll see them. They're usually photos that are prominently placed somewhere, whether it's on the cover of a magazine, on the front page of a newspaper, okay, or a website like CNN or somewhere like that will have them shaking and you could see it. Today they actually show Prince William, I believe it is, Prince Harry, Prince William doing the Master Mason shake. And you'll notice celebrities doing it all the time, like Jay-Z. All these guys, they all do it because they're all Freemasons. Okay, the Freemason lodges, that's where they get indoctrinated with this Luciferian worship, the worship of Satan. That's where they're told that they are truly gods amongst us. Okay, that they're greater than us, that they're better than us. And that they're really here to rule us, to rule over us. So these Masons have their handshakes for a reason. This is how they communicate with one another without openly saying, hey, hi, are you a Freemason? They do it obviously through symbols like we've talked about. And they also do it through handshakes. This is how they let one another know where they rank. And then through photographs, other Masons can see that so they know, oh, okay, this guy is in. I could see that he's a Master Mason through his shake, or I could see he's doing the lion's paw, or whatever the shake might be specifically. So if you didn't know this, now you know. They do communicate through hand symbols as well as handshakes. Try to keep your eyes open for these things. It'll help you in the awakening process if you start looking at photos and those types of things and examining them instead of just looking at their face and their eyes and go, oh, he's making a funny face. Okay, because they communicate on a different level than we do. So look for these things. This is the Freemason handshakes, the Illuminati handshakes, whatever you want to call it. This is taught in the Freemason lodges, in the Masonic lodges. And as you grow in the Masonic lodge and your rank becomes higher, you learn the different, the secret handshakes are revealed to you. So the higher up you are, you go from an apprentice, all the way up to a Master Mason. You learn these new handshakes along with a lot of the things that they reveal as they climb the ladder, such as, like I said earlier, Lucifer being the true God in their eyes. So again, we've also discussed how the Masons use other symbols such as the hidden hand that you can find in photographs where they're posing, doing these certain hand symbols that goes all the way back centuries and centuries, that they've been doing this through, whether it's somebody drawing a painting of one of these Masons and them doing the hidden hand or doing one of their Freemason symbols so that other people, and as the world moves forward, can see that these people were Masons. So that's how we can tell through history how a lot of these prominent people, presidents and all of these people in positions of power have been Freemasons or were Freemasons while they were alive. And that's also how they want their legacy to be remembered so that other Masons can see the symbols. And obviously they feel like we're idiots and we're never going to figure this out because it has been going on for a long time. But the awakening, like I said, is happening. We're all starting to wake up. These are things that they would never allow out of the Masonic lodges. Now they're out. They don't really care as much because they have control of 99% of the world as far as their brains go. We're just a small majority. But when you expose their secrets and get it out, it really can help in the awakening process because your brain starts to process these things and look for them. Like I've been saying over and over with these exposés that we've been doing. You look for the symbols, you look for the 666 sign. And then if you condition yourself to start looking for signs and symbols, you'll see them everywhere. Every time you go to CNN or you go to whatever website, ESPN, you'll see somebody flashing the 666 or the pyramid. If you go to CNN, you'll see two prominent people having a handshake, doing the Master Mason grip. Okay, so it is really important that you start conditioning yourself to see these symbols, to find these symbols, because they're right in front of your face. It's not so much finding them. It's training your brain to look for them. So get out of an alpha state, okay? Get awake. Be awake and alert when you're looking at things and you're reading things and you're observing things, and you'll see these symbols and you'll say, wow, look at that. You know, the president doing a Master Mason grip, or you'll see Dick Ebersol of NBC doing a lion's paw handshake. You'll see all these things. You'll see how the Masons and the Illuminati, the elitists, how they control and run everything, how they communicate through symbols. That's how they communicate to one another. That is how we don't pick up on this stuff. That's how we've gotten to where we are, because they've been communicating secretly. Our brain has been trained by them in the school systems to not pick up on these types of things. Then they have electronics shoved in our faces, so people are constantly in an alpha state on their electronic devices or watching television, so they're never alert and looking for this stuff. They've conditioned us to not look for these things. They're trained and they're conditioned to communicate on a whole different level than we are. But now if we can awaken ourselves and start looking for these signs and looking for these handshakes, you will become more aware and more alert at just how much control they have, just how many people are involved in this, because it is everyone and it is everywhere. So start looking for these things all the time now. Train yourself to look for these symbols. Train yourself after watching this video to look for the handshakes, to search for them. So this is just more Illuminati, Freemason, occult symbolism. Look for these things, like I said, when you're watching television, when you see photographs, specifically still photographs, because they will be placed there strategically for them to communicate with each other, so they could say, oh, look, the Pope and the president are doing a Master Mason grip, right? So that other people who might be, you know, Freemasons at the 6th degree, 7th degree, or other ones who are celebrities can see that deliberately right in plain sight, that they're paying homage to their Freemason brothers and also letting them know where they rank. Okay? Thanks for listening to today's show. God bless all of you. May peace be with you.